Hello everyone and welcome back to League 7. My name is Felix of Virtual Witchcraft, coming to you live from the pitch here at League 7, presenting yet another series of absolutely fantastic matches here today of Week 7 of League 7. Today I am joined by my co-host Ketchup, who has very bravely agreed to sit down with me, talk with these matches, as well as commentate some of the things that I may not be able to see in my perspective. Ketchup, I'm going to try and make sure that this audio is capturing appropriately, but could you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us how you're feeling?
Well, just like last time, I'm feeling incredible again, but this time even more so, because we have so many matches today, so many that we cannot stream them all at once, sadly. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to get played, that they're not going to get covered, because we are going to try and cover all matches today. Isn't that right, Virtual?
That we are. We are at least going to try and get one perspective from each match that goes into the gun today. It's going to be a tall order for all of us, but you know what? Between myself and Ketchup, I think we can bring you all the comms you're going to need to keep up to date with these absolutely energetic and frenetic and powerful matches that we have. We are going to be starting here shortly with the very first set of matches, coming up with Dumbledore's Army versus Thin Ice and High Tide versus the Chadley Cannons. What an exciting series we will have today, Ketchup. Knowing the prospects, what do you think? What are you most looking forward to?
Well, of course, the one match that I'm most excited about is the Chadley Cannons versus the High Tide. See how much High Tide has improved. If I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this is really in High Tide's favor, but you will never know if there's gonna be an upset.
You never know, you never know. I will actually say I saw members of High Tide practicing yesterday in the 6v6 events that were going on. The captain, Seawoods, actually was going around and trying out every single role. And getting to face off against them as a Seeker, I must say I'm rather proud with their progress. They're doing incredibly well. So who knows, maybe they've been putting in all that hard work and have been coming forward to really showcase their potential on the pitch today. I am excited to see an underdog story.
I am also very excited, and there might be a chance. You never know. The Chatty Cannons are very strong, but maybe High Tide has those new player luck, those new player boost, and maybe they can squeeze out a game. It is very unlikely, but if we see it, I'm sure that the Chatty Cannons will be never let down on this.
We will have to see. Because as it stands, the Chadley Cannons do have their fearsome capabilities on the pitch. They didn't earn their cannon name for nothing. But even beyond that, later today in the series, I do see that we had a late minute injury with the High Tide facing off against Thin Ice later today. So going between the fiery bombasticness that is the Chadley Cannons to the immediate freezing chill that comes with Thin Ice, I do hope that High Tide has kept up with their impervious charm to at least battle the elements to push themselves forward in the OWL's ladder.
It is going to be some incredible matches, and speaking of me commentating the High Tide things, I did get permission from the High Tide people to be very rough on them, to show what their mistakes are, just so they can watch this back for improvement.
Ah, good. We do need a very critical commentator when it comes down to these key plays, especially if they're looking to improve their meta, to really build to their strengths and to operate in and out. As it stands, I try to do it myself, but if I'm quite honest, that's not my bread and butter. But I certainly entrust Ketchup here, especially by way of beater gameplay, to really showcase that constructive criticism. So High Tide, if you hear anything from Ketchup with regards to your plays, remember, he's doing his best to really put forward the more critical lens. But all of that said, it does look like members of High Tide have entered into their match against the Chadley Cannons. So let's go ahead and swap on over as we are introduced to the Chadley Cannons versus High Tide here at League 7.
This is going to be an incredible first match, and if we're lucky, the other people will start their game the moment that this one ends. A game is only 7 minutes, you never know.
Well, it looks like the other team with Dumbledore's Army versus Thin Ice is entering into their match as well.
2 games at the same time, and immediately the Chadley Cannons score on this side. 10-0 for the Chadley Cannons. It can still go either way.
It is early on in the match, and starting off by way of Dumbledore's Army versus Thin Ice, it looks like possession of the Quaffle is passing back and forth between the two sides. Thin Ice looking to get an early goal here, but doesn't succeed as its Luna keeps the Quaffle right on out. Excellent work there.
And on the side of High Tide, I am sad to say that Seawoods has gone down to the beta prowess of Nena. It could have been easily prevented if Seawoods just moved a little bit more instead of in a straight line. I have to be a bit critical here for their improvement, but it indeed, as Seeker, is very important to stay moving, especially against a strong beater like Nena.
Thoroughly agreed. When it comes down to the Seeker gameplay, you want to be as wily and as dexterous as possible just to keep out of the way of oncoming attacks. Speaking of attacks, Veneer for Dumbledore's Army puts the first 10 points on the board for Dumbledore's Army at 5 minutes 40 seconds on the clock.
That is a bit closer on your side, because on my side Again, Seawoods has gone down to Nana, making a 90% difference in snitch meter in Chatley Cannon's favor, and the OTP catches it, make it 50-0 for the Chatley Cannons.
An unfortunate series of events, a tall order to overcome, but there is still plenty of time on their side. Speaking of snitches, with Dumbledore's army versus Thin Ice, Dumbledore's army's own Jolva is closing in on the snitch. Are we going to see Jolva overtake Denji here? Denji's catching back up. Take Blueby scores to tie the game. Chasers are headlining, punching each seeker. It's neck and neck. Denji captures. 10-30, Thin Ice now back in the lead.
Well, looking back at the stream, that snitch was incredibly close.
It was so incredibly close. Jolva having a strong lead there, but unfortunately just wasn't able to keep up that lead with the oncoming bombardment of the Chaser Corps.
On the other side, we here have Seawoods going down again, this time to the hands of Compute Gamer. It's gonna be a really rough game for High Tide. I mean, if this continues, I might secretly drop into their VC to give Seawoods maybe a few secret tips. But looking at it now, it's gonna be a really rough match to win.
A rough match to win, but you know, this High Tide has been taking it in stride, been learning the game and doing their best to put forth their best games. And as a newer team, it is to be expected they have much to learn. I will see that Seawoods is learning to utilize that zoom out function. I would keep them doing so for the rest of the match, because that is very necessary for any Seeker to really succeed.
And that's not the only thing. I cannot wait for Seawoods to learn to be able to use the focus cam and to be able to catch those snitches against the highest team. But what do I see? High Tide scoring on the Chatley Cannons.
Absolutely
making it
brilliant.
10-70.
10-70. Chatley Cannon still in the lead. Oh, with another snitch catch, bringing that score 90-10. An 80-point disparity with 2 minutes 35 seconds left. Over here though, with Dumbledore's army, it looks like the snitch meter is neck and neck, slightly leaning in favor of Thin Ice. Oh, and I do see, it does look like over there with the Chatley Cannons have closed out the game. In the meantime, it is still breakneck over here with Thin Ice versus Dumbledore's army, with currently 60-point disparity and a 25% lead on the snitch by way of Thin Ice. This is looking closer and closer to a frigid victory here.
Well, I'm hopping into your DA versus Thin Ice game because my game just ended, make it 100-10 for the side of Chatley Cannons.
Dumbledore's army currently in possession. Veneer swinging around, trying to close this gap here. Goes for the upper hoop, swings back, looks for a backward shot, but doesn't get it. An absolutely spectacular save from Thin Ice's keeper.
But looking at Denji's POV, he is still very low, actively regenerating, but get hit by a bludger, making him 2 HP. A beater hit, a keeper kick, anything can kill him. Of course, 2 chaser hits will also bring him down, but he is starting to regenerate again. But
He's
gets
got
hit
this.
in the process. Stopping the regeneration, keeping him low, making it so that Joel can come back. Of course, Denji playing it safe because he has the lead, but soon he has to do something.
Something, anything.
And he has to do it very soon because Joel is really catching up. If Denji doesn't catch quick, Joel can catch.
It is possible that Jolva's waiting for that precise moment, stretching forward. Denji still with the beautiful capture. 44 seconds left on that clock. Bringing the score 20 to 90.
An incredible catch from Denji, but just because it was an incredible catch from Denji doesn't mean that Joel did not bring it back together with, of course, our goated beater,
Laggy Lestrange having worked incredibly hard that entire match, and honestly, that breakneck neck and neck Seeker game, especially having been knocked down and coming right back around, Jolva has showcased that they have what it takes to compete against Denji. Potentially just needs a tighter attack on top of some chaser gameplay. So maybe the chasers start to interfere a bit more with the Seeker gameplay in order to bring it back around. But that closes out that game there, with Dumbledore's army having conceded their first loss over to the ever formidable and freezing thin ice. Excellent work there. Well, Ketchup.
Incredible matches. Both being very strong teams, especially DA versus Thin Ice. I think it can go either way.
Oh, absolutely. There's still plenty of time to make a turnaround here today. And I am absolutely excited to see which of these teams will be moving on to really combat this next match. Does look like the teams are kind of taking a moment to assess themselves. Maybe thinking of different style of gameplay to fend off against one another. What do you have to say, Ketchup, with regards to the High Tide versus the Chadley Cannons that High Tide will need to do in as concise a manner as possible to really bring home this next match?
Like I said, I'm gonna be very honest and very brutal for High Tide. And as I look at it now, it may seem it's very likely that it's just impossible for High Tide to win. So instead of focusing on winning, they need to focus on improving themselves as much as they can. They need to try to position themselves better, not immediately just go and try and win the snitch race, try and win the beater battle, try and win the quaffle game. Just try and improve yourself. Just do not die to Nana. You don't have to catch the snitch, you just have to survive that small bit longer. Just try and get 2 goals this time. Last time you got 1 incredible goal, but maybe this time you can go for 2, or maybe just try to not get 100 so that the game gets ended early. Just try to improve those small little things, and certainly next season you will be a formidable foe.
A formidable foe indeed, and I will say, going into this next match, I do agree. When it comes down to High Tide, especially by way of Seawoods or any Seeker that they put forward, what I recommend more than anything is focusing primarily on the survival. Yes, you want to capture the snitch, but primarily speaking, you do want to have more of the capability to stay alive on your broomstick before anything else. But as we say that, the Chadley Cannons versus High Tide Match 2 is underway as we speak, with our perspective now being Skipper from the Chadley Cannons.
Skipper actually being on Secret this time, which is a role I've never seen before for him.
This season has showcased the versatility of each player playing in this league here today. I do remember it was the very first match that you and I both commentated when it was Flourish hopping on the Seeker role. And as a Seeker main myself, I absolutely love to see people getting a better appreciation of what all goes behind it. Meanwhile, in the background of this Seeker gameplay, we see the Chadley Cannons put forth their first goal, 10 points versus 0 at 6 minutes in.
Well, I've got to say that looking at High Tide versus Chadley Cannons, High Tide is actively winning the Seeker race against Skipper, a well-known player in the community and the League 7 president.
League 7 president pushing forward on the snitch, but High Tide seems to have taken a bit of a lesson from the last match and puts in 10 points on the board immediately. And it seems like their Saker is ahead on the snitch as we speak.
I'm just gonna say it, like, their beater is doing an incredible job trying to keep Skipper at bay, and it looks like, if I'm looking at the rolls, it may be that High Tide not High Tide, that the Chadley Cannons all picked any of their rolls.
Incredible to see. Chadley Cannons either very sporting or very, very confident in their capabilities on the broomstick to play any single role. Because that is something that I myself wouldn't gamble with, knowing my incredible lack of skill as a keeper. And it does seem as if on the other side, Dumbledore's army and Thin Ice are loading into their match. Let's see if we can summon their perspective up. There it is, they're loading in right now, just as we're getting on top of the snitch race. Skipper coming in with an incredible bump to capture the snitch at the last second. Score 40-10 at 4 minutes 15 seconds. We'll swap on over here to take a look at Dumbledore.
From Skipper. Being so far behind and yet bring it back against, I want to say the High Tide members, but just because they're High Tide members doesn't mean they're the bottom of the bottom. Looking at this, their beater is hitting tackles left and right, making Skipper dodge. Their Seeker just got an incredible bump. And of course the keeper also hitting some hero kicks.
Incredible plays out there. Over by way of Thin Ice and Dumbledore's army, we are elapsing the first minute without any goals conceded. Both teams' keepers doing their best to keep the goals out of it. But, as I say that, Dake Blueby with an incredible shot on goal puts the first 10 points on the board before the 6-minute mark itself. Brilliantly done. Caster's curse, as Time Twister kindly reminds me.
Of course, we as casters have such an important role in Quidditch by not trying to fuck anything up with whatever we say. We try to be as neutral as possible, but sometimes the favoritism comes out and it immediately backfires. That being said, the snitch race between High Tide and Chadley Cannons is incredibly close. But of course the Chadley Cannons do have a bit on the edge of their chaser game. It still can just make High Tide's day so much more if they catch that one snitch.
Ooh.
And of course you do that with Skipper going down.
Brilliantly done. I had the privilege of watching that. It looks like High Tide has learned their interference tactics and has been taking on the Seeker, knocking them down and earning Seawoods that lead on the snitch by 25%. Brilliantly done. Dumbledore's army in the background puts in 10 points, and the snitch race is neck and neck there too. Looks as if Denji is still in a hard lead, but takes a kick from Dumbledore's army. Dumbledore's army interfering as best they can. Oh, but Dumbledore's army's Seeker gets knocked backwards, securing Denji the catch. 30-10 at 4 minutes 30 seconds.
30-10. It was the exact same last match, but can Dumbledore's army this time change the score to not lose?
Well, there is plenty of time for another snitch capture there and plenty more for some quaffle goals, so I anticipate that we can see a turnaround. Will we see a match 3 between these two incredible teams? Let's find out. But I see over on your side, Ketchup, that High Tide has just put in another goal, and it looks like Chadley Cannons responds with a snitch capture. 1 minute, 12 seconds left.
It is probably going to be it for High Tide, but they need to be so proud with getting 2 goals in. It is against Nana, which isn't the most well-known keeper in the game, but something happening on your side?
Even beyond that, when it comes down to just how incredibly strong their interference tactics have been in this last match, I will say they did most excellent. Like, the potential for this team to really make it farther on the leaderboard is there. They've been putting in the work. They did learn from their last match and approach this next one with a sense of improvement. Excellently done, High Tide.
It is always incredible to see them improve and to just see them get back better in real time.
Especially seeing as High Tide, with the exception of the captures, has led on the snitch race almost every single time. But that looks like it closes out the game 100-20 for that second series between High Tide and Chadley Cannons. Thank you. Excellently done there. Excellently done.
Incredible gameplay. And of course now we still have the match of Thin Ice versus Dumbledore's army, which can still go either way. This one snitch can decide it all. Can Joel make it back, or will Denji keep the lead? What do you think, Joel?
Oh, well, I've seen turnarounds before, and we have seen Jolva make incredible comebacks here against Denji in the past. Will Jolva be able to capitalize on that? I'm not certain, but Dumbledore's army is not out yet. Putting in another 10 points, we are at 40-20. Looks like Denji takes a strong hit there. That just might be enough to keep them off the snitch, but Denji is just looking for a swing on capture.
And they get the capture, almost settling that they will win. But of course, don't count it out yet. If the Seekers are quick, there can still be a third snitch.
There can still be a third snitch, with 1 minute 24 seconds left on the clock.
It can still go Team DA's way, but it is going to be incredibly hard. Team DA really need to put forth their best game, their A game, to beat the incredible team that is Thin Ice, who has won 2 entire seasons. Am I saying that right?
Yes, 2 seasons. Over the past 2 seasons, they have brought home the gold, an incredible victory, and are looking to do the same this season. If they can do so, then they break the record previously held by Crazy Comms with regards to consecutive winning seasons. Will we see the hat trick this one? I'm not so certain, as the competition has ramped up and it is a steep one at that. Dumbledore's army also showing that they have come back from their 7th place stretch in yesterday's match against the 4th place Gaslight and Grindelows.
Yes, I mean, looking at the timer now, 10 seconds left. I don't think DA can make a comeback, and with that, Joel going down, Denji catching the snitch, I think it may be over.
3 seconds left on the clock. It's most certainly over. Just not enough time to get that next goal. And that is the match. Well done. Over to Thin Ice for those incredible wins there. And Dumbledore's army may have conceded that match, but they will be coming back in the next one against the Avenging Angels in approximately 30 minutes. So, well done, both teams. I am so proud of all that you've done there. Well done.
Incredible. Both teams, like all teams today, played incredible, and we still have a lot of games to go. Just don't have to leave yet. There are like, how many more games today, Virtual?
Oh, well, we've got 3 simultaneous games in the gun for this next matchup in about 30 minutes. Then from there, I do believe we have 1 more game. So we've got 4 games after this one. So yes, but
It is a whole lot of Quidditch for one day.
an incredible amount of Quidditch for one day. All of that said, I do think we will take a moment to go to a quick commercial break. Once we're back, I do think I have a time twister with an important announcement. So, we'll go ahead, swap on over to a break, and when we're back, we will be inviting Time Twister into the box. So, dear audience, don't go away. We will be right back. Hello everyone and welcome back. We do have a most exciting announcement over here at League 7. As it is, League 7 is a community-first server built around the idea of enjoying Quidditch champions. However, we have in the past reached out and helped support our sister servers and sister communities in their own endeavors, and today is no different. I am very happy to announce that we have a member of another community within the Harry Potter fandom that has been working hard to put forth their own gaming playstyle. And I have a member of that community here today with Time Twister. You know them on the pitch as an incredible flyer, but now they have something most excellent to present. Time Twister, welcome in. How are you feeling today?
I'm going to be honest, Felix, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about this. I know I've brought this up a couple of times in the content promotion channel, in the L07 Discord. The last time we streamed the Harry Potter Trading Card Game Revival Tournament, which was a few months ago. However, I'm really excited to announce we're actually coming out with the Trials and Germans set. It is I believe it's already publicly announced that it is the second to last block in or second to last set in our Goblet of Fire block type deal. I wish some of the players here had been present for when we released the Quidditch World Finals set, being Quidditch and all. However, I have some great news. I am here to share a few Quidditch-related cards with everyone. And for those that don't know, the Harry Potter Trading Card Game Revival Project, we're an effort to rebuild the community around the card game that Wizards just kind of dropped off after the release of the second movie, I believe it was. Yep. We've been creating fan-made sets, we've been hosting tournaments, and I've been trying to push this on a lot of my friends and former teammates. But it's because it's a game that I'm really passionate about. I've been doing I'm on the playtesting side of things, and it was just kind of an idea in my head. It was like, you know what, I think I'll reach out to Melanor and the broadcasting team, see if they're amicable to maybe having a preview card or two. And I'm really, really glad that I got the approval from the casting and creative team from Stav and from Melanor. So without further ado, I mean, with those last couple matches there, Dumbledore's Army Thin Ice and High Tide Chadley Cannons, I really think it's a really good tie-in to our first card, with us seeing some pretty impressive flying, one might say.
Impressive flying indeed. Can you tell us a bit more about what this card does in the game?
Certainly. So each card, as you can see in the top left corner, has a cost and a lesson symbol, or a lesson type associated with it. There's 5 lesson types. Based off of the different classes. You've got Care of Magical Creatures, Charms, Transfiguration, Potions, and Quidditch, as you can see here. This card specifically does 2 damage to your opponent, which is, it's sure, 2 damage doesn't sound like a small amount, but when you're thinking, in this game, you don't have a life total. Every time you take damage, you discard that many cards from the top of your deck. So you're losing access to 2 cards, your opponent's losing access to 2 cards. And it also says the next Quidditch spell you play this turn requires 3 less power to play. So that 6 in the corner requires 6 power, so you need 6 things that provide anything, but you need at least 1 Quidditch. So if you were to play an Impressive Flying, the next Impressive Flying you play wouldn't require 6, it would require 3. And just looking at some comments in chat, Magic Mike's, you have just missed the first 2 matches. You missed Dumbledore's Army Thin Ice and Chadley Cannon's High Tide.
But there's plenty more matches in the gun, Mikes. Plenty more, so don't you worry. We'll be right back with it later.
There are plenty more matches, and as those players gear up for those matches, we can actually transition here a bit into card 2. I really hope Mooney is in here for this one. I made a very, very loud comment about summoning Broom fans here with Accio Firebolt.
Me every time I hit the pitch.
True. So Accio Firebolt is a 1-cost card here that allows you to search your deck for an item card, be it a broom or a wand or something else, like a cauldron or something, and you reveal it and you put it in your hand so that you've just kind of got it in the pocket for later. The art on both of these, as we saw on Impressive Flying, we had Harry swooping in to catch the golden egg. In this one, we see Harry with his wand raised, summoning his firebolt. And I think these two cards, both their names and their arts, are just so representative of this game. The fact that we source our art through the community. And sorry, it just got really, really cold for me, so I'm kind of shaking. You can hear it in my voice. But Accio Firebolt, really big fan of it because we don't have many one-cost spells in the game, and seeing one more always makes my heart happy because I like playing things and I like doing them fast. So, you know, playing an Accio Firebolt, grabbing a cheap broom, or grabbing like a really hard-hitting item like a love potion that prevents damage, but you have to discard it before your turn. It all really just lets more decks come together and do their thing. But I'm really, really excited. I hope that you all at least give the community a try. If you want to go ahead and send those links in chat now, thank you. You can see we have a dedicated website and a dedicated Discord as well. We have casual play that just happens. There's 2 different formats, with only the cards that have been released by Wizards, and then the cards that are included in the fan-made sets as well. But this set is it's just such a passion project, as with all of the other sets. I've actually had to do homework on this, which I've been really excited for, and I'm just really glad that I get to share these cards with the L7 community.
And I'm happy that you have as well. I have some incredibly nostalgic memories. Back when I was younger, I used to actually play and collect plenty of the cards for the Harry Potter trading card game. But you're right, like after the second movie, I think Wizards of the Coast just couldn't keep up with the licensure and ended up dropping it from their carousel. But something that you were telling me about it, and something that I looked into it, with this community, they've been picking up where they left off, and more specifically, if I'm not mistaken, they're basically trying to fill every subsequent year in the series, picking up at the beginning of Prisoner of Azkaban and moving on towards Deathly Hallows with each of their subsequent cards. Is that correct?
Yeah, they actually picked up in Chamber of Secrets towards the end. They had a smaller set called Heir of Slytherin, just wrapping up the storylines that had been introduced in the Chamber of Secrets set. They also follow the books than the movies, for those of you who were, Angry Man Shouts at Clouds about the video games, I believe from Goblet of Fire forward. I'm still never going to forgive Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince for that.
Right.
Of course. But yeah, these, I've just been having so much fun with these sets. I've been working on them since Echoes of the Past, which was one of the later Prisoner of Azkaban sets. And just ever since then, it's been so much fun to work with them, to see everyone genuinely and thoroughly enjoy these cards and these sets that we release.
And I think I will probably enjoy it too.
Certainly, I'm really looking forward to it, and we are slowly but surely making our way toward Deathly Hallows. I believe currently at the moment there are no plans for Hogwarts Legacy or Quidditch Champions related cards. However, that may change as we go on. So it's a current no. However, I'm not going to push for it personally, because I believe all of the books cover most of the brooms. But, if there's a chance I might be able to toss in a Turbo or a Cavalier, I will see what I can do.
So, quick question actually. As a huge Harry Potter fan myself, I will say, thinking about the extended media beyond the books, would you potentially be open for... Oh goodness, what was I going to suggest here? Goodness. I'm so sorry, dear audience. Unfortunately, it seems like it slipped my mind there. But you're absolutely right. There are some things outside of the extended media. It just came back to me. What about the old Pottermore? I know it was based around the books precisely, but there were certain things, for instance, the Quidditch World Cup that was set back in like 2014 or what have you, that isn't covered in any of the books or any of the other extended canon. It literally was just that one kind of sideline event that cropped up in old Pottermore. Do you think we might see something from that?
I'm not entirely sure. That may be covered in like an extended universe set if that is something that does happen. I don't believe with there not being much content to it, I don't know if there's enough for us to do like a full set on it. Maybe like a mini set with like 15, 20 cards, perhaps.
I'll still take that.
Of course, that's not my call to make, but I'll get in touch with my people and I'll see what can happen.
Excellent. Now, I do know when it comes down to it, a lot of the Harry Potter trading cards are actually out of circulation now. However, if I'm not mistaken, the trading card game community has actually come together to provide kind of proxies that people can print out, cut out, and then like sleeve for themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we actually have, for the physical, we actually have a couple of resources in the printing channel in the Discord. There's a website where you can just paste in a deck list, and it'll give you the PDFs to, go and print off, either at your own printer or at your local library. And I've used that before. It's very, very useful. And if you're in a more remote location and you don't have very many, people around you to play with, we also do have a couple of online platforms. There is the generic TCG platform called Untap that we use for our tournaments. However, there are, I believe now it's up to 4 current online, dedicated platforms for the Harry Potter TCG that are in development, which are... They're all, there's 2 of them are browser-based, 2 of them are actual, standalone programs, and they've been receiving constant updates. The developers are very responsive to criticism and commentary and bug reports and things like that, and I'm just really happy that we don't have just, one website to base all of our play off of. So I'm really excited for all of those to come to more fruition. I believe... out of them, 3 of the 4 have all of the original sets from Wizards of the Coast, and one of them has actually started on implementing the revival cards as well.
Most excellent to hear. Now, I will go ahead and post once more both the community website and the Discord in chat. I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there who have been waiting to hear about this kind of gameplay, because again, I remember it from childhood. I didn't even know that there was still an active community playing behind it. And if I did, I would have held on to my cards. I feel a little bad that I don't have them anymore. But knowing that I can go in and print them out, at least get the proxies, or just play online, I think I'm going to dip my toe back into it and see how far I can get along into it. Because playing as a child was one thing, but I think now, with my understanding of game mechanics, it will be even more exciting. But yes, thank you so much, Time Twister, for bringing this to our notice. I'm sure we'll have many new players that will come swarming on in to give it a look, give it some play, and give it some love. Thank you again, Time Twister.
Of course, I've got one more thing that I'd like to mention, or a couple more things, actually.
Go right ahead.
So, for those of us that are in the Midwest U.S. That have the ability to travel, the Harry Potter trading card game, the Revival team, will be at Gen Con, one of the largest gaming conventions in the continental U.S. That's coming up. It'll be next week. And for the second point, there is, for those of you that are either looking to get into it or are returning, like you are, Felix, there is a tab on the website for new players. It's got a learn to play video, it's got how to build, or general deck building advice, it's got links to Untap in the Discord, and it's just so useful.
Do apologize, I accidentally muted myself there. But it sounds incredibly useful. See, having those resources available makes it so much easier to really welcome in new players, and especially hearing that not only is the community alive online, but also going to big events and being able to get together and play together. Because I know for me, playing online is one thing, but playing in person just has that much more special a feel. And especially if you're making it on out to these different gaming cons and being able to play there, I think that's an incredible community building exercise. So, thank you for that. Anything else, Time Twister, before we go ahead and swap on over to a quick break before this next match?
I don't believe so. I do want to go ahead and thank once again you, the casting team, or the rest of casting creative team and Melanor for giving me this opportunity, as well as the developers of the Harry Potter trading card game Revival Project for giving me these cards to pass them on to you all.
And thank you again for bringing this all forward so that we have a chance to engage in it ourselves. And thank you for your time, Time Twister. I'm so happy to have you in the box today. Hopefully we'll be able to have you a few more times maybe to commentate. But otherwise, you have a great day, my friend. If I'm not mistaken, you've got a match later today, is that correct?
I do in fact have a match tonight. It is at, it'll be in here, I believe, 2 hours?
Roughly 2 hours. Yeah.
Roughly 2 hours. And I'm going to be honest, I have not booted up the game all day.
Well, you know what? You have 2 hours to boot it up and get those last minute scrims and practice in. So I bid you good luck, my friend. To the audience, we will be swapping right on over to a quick commercial break as we set up for this next match. We've got 3 incredible matches in the gun, so don't go away. We'll be right back with more Quidditch here at League 7. And welcome back to the pitch, everyone. We are back from our commercial break, moving on in.
Polygon.
Yeah, I think the stream cut out there. My apologies, dear audience. Looks like my connection dropped there very briefly, but we should be back. I do see that it says we are back in. Melnor confirming we are Gucci now. So we'll go right back over what I was saying before. We have 3 matches in the gun with the Avenging Angels versus Dumbledore's Army, Thin Ice versus High Tide, and Team Pumpkin Snatch versus the Chadley Cannons. It is going to be incredible. Obviously, on our side within the stream, we can only capture approximately 2 matches at any given time. So do forgive me, I will do my best to swap between perspectives where we are able, but we will not be able to capture all of every match that comes in. All of that said, it does look like the first match between the between Thin Ice and High Tide is about to get underway, so let's swap on over and take a look there.
One thing I do gotta say, the moment it is time to play, High Tide immediately gets everyone in the match. Props for them.
We do love to see some punctuality as the match starts at the 0-1 mark, giving them plenty of time to bring this around. Once more, we have the perspective of Seawoods from High Tide, who has just underwent a bit of Seeker training and is ready to put what they have just learned to practice.
It is going to be incredible. It is, of course, still the first game of trying this all out, so don't be too harsh on them. They're really going to try. But I believe in the potential of High Tide and how quickly they can learn the game.
They have showcased some real grit and some incredible talent, as well as the prospect to learn in previous matches, and have been putting whatever they've learned to practice in each of these subsequent ones. We do see that Seawoods is working incredibly well to keep off of the enemy team's beaters and chasers interfering with them, and against Thin Ice, 2-time champions, no less. Incredible stuff there. Thin Ice putting in the first goal after a minute 15 seconds. Excellently done by way of Thin Ice, 0-10.
Looking at all the other streams, it seems like they are still the only team in a match. So we just got the full High Tide experience.
Full High Tide experience here. Looks like we have Count Tails putting in another 10 points for Thin Ice. Thin Ice currently in the lead on that snitch, but only by approximately 20%. Seawoods looking for a way to weave in and out, maybe get that precise bump at the opportune moment. It is dangerously close. 2 minutes have elapsed. We are at 0-20. Flyrish flying on in with a snitch capture there, bringing the score 40 points to Thin Ice.
Got to say, this snitch race was so much closer than I originally expected. Maybe that last minute secret training was really good for High Tide, and maybe this will allow them to catch that snitch finally.
I think so. As it stands, having as much practice as possible will always lead a team towards victory. But even with all that practice, when you're facing off against Jay Mauler there, it is a difficult request to fulfill, especially as Seawoods goes down there and takes another knock by Jay Mauler, who capitalizes on the consistent load-in of the Seekers, followed up by Date Blueby knocking down Seawoods there. Got to keep an eye on the keeper as much as you keep an eye on everyone else there. Cheese and Queso putting in another 10 points, leading that Thin Ice 60-0, 3 minutes 50 seconds in.
I think this snitch is going to be a lot harder to win back, but I believe in the ability of Seawoods to be able to do this.
They have what it takes. I do see that currently Thin Ice and High Tide are still the only perspectives that we have currently in a match. So don't worry, dear audience, there is no technical difficulty over there. It is just simply waiting for the players to load on in. We are currently over halfway of this first match between High Tide and Thin Ice, down 70 lead by Thin Ice.
It is, I mean, of course, a one-sided slaughter, but High Tide, the newest team in the whole game, versus Thin Ice, the multi-year champion, is, of course, going to be hard for High Tide and a really rough battle.
A rough battle indeed, especially with Count Tails putting in another 10 points there. 2 minutes 45 seconds left on the clock. And as we're speaking, it looks like the Avenging Angels are loading in on their match against Dumbledore's army. So let's go ahead, summon their perspective right here. And they are off. In the meantime... I'm sorry, Ketchup, you go right on ahead there.
Well, looking at this, it seems like the first match between High Tide and Thin Ice goes in favor of Thin Ice with 0 to 110.
Excellently done there. Most excellently done. Happy to see that Thin Ice is still putting forward their best foot, regardless of the team that they're facing, wanting to ensure that High Tide gets that true, difficult and competitive scene that we here at League 7 promote. Well done to High Tide for showcasing their true grit in that previous match.
It was an incredible match, and seeing as High Tide needs to regroup real quick, I may be leaving the commentator's booth for a second to run to their dressing room and just give them.
Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between, and otherwise, I do apologize. It looks like there was a connection drop on my side of things, but we are right back in this. At the moment, it looks like the Chadley Cannons are preparing themselves for their match against Team Pumpkin Snatch. Meanwhile, Thin Ice and High Tide are about to be moving into their second match after a quick regroup. Otherwise, Avenging Angels and Dumbledore's army is neck and neck. Jova bringing forward an additional 20 points for Dumbledore's army, ensuring a 20-point lead at 4 minutes 45 seconds left on the clock.
Out for a bit again. A bit of internet problems, but that does tend to happen when you don't really have the best internet due to Mogul stuff not really being very common here in the Wizard world.
Yeah, unfortunately on my side there appears to be some storms passing through, which has been causing some grief with my connection over here. Muggle technology, very delicate when it comes down to what they are able to withstand. But we are back. Again, audience, I do apologize for said disconnection. We're working with what we can, but of course, I don't have the strongest connection with current weather. Thank you for your patience there. We are back, and it does look like Thin Ice and High Tide are entering into their second match as Dumbledore's army and Avenging Angels are continuing on with their own.
It is going to be, again, a tough match for High Tide to even score a point, but I really do believe in them. On the other side, let's see how the other team is doing.
Yes. Do we have any word catch-up with regards to what we're seeing with Chadley Cannons? Have they entered into their first match as of yet?
They have not, but I do see that I don't think that we're looking at the perspective of Skipper, who is playing now for the Angels.
Interesting, interesting. One moment, I'm taking a look on side of things.
of course, while he is taking a look, let me commentate over some amazing, what seems to be now skipper beater gameplay, with it being very close, Joel being elite and actually catching the snitch against Rishi.
I see what it was.
Very impressive feat.
I do apologize, audience. It seems like in the connection issues I had neglected to change that title from Skipper. That is actually Angel on the screen, showcasing their abilities. My apologies, dear audience.
It also seems that we don't have Seawood's perspective in the corner, even though they are playing again a
That's
very
not
rough game.
Seawards. Again, one moment there, Ketchup. We'll be getting them right away. Just hold on, okay?
Of course, that storm is messing up everything. I think it may be a magical storm because it even is affecting what seems to be our magical abilities to do a whole lot of those daily life magic stuff. I mean, I cannot really say the most of it. I am personally not really good with magic myself. And looking at the game, Flyrish got another snitch, making 0 to 50 for Thin Ice. It is going to be a very, very rough match for High Tide, but I really believe they can do it.
I will say, it looks as if the HUDs themselves still have not refreshed appropriately, as we are actually witnessing on the left-hand side Denji instead of Seawoods. I'm not exactly certain where the technical error is coming in, dear audience, but do forgive me as I'm still trying to iron them right out.
Of course, take your time for it. Well, that storm is really messing up everyone. And while you do that, let me go commentate over this beautiful, beautiful Angel gameplay. And I just got a message from OTP that they are trying to stagger it out so that their game also gets shown on the big screen, which I of course do understand. And with, if they score now, it might... I am so sorry to see this. A 60-70 victory for Dumbledore's army. It was incredibly close, but in the end Dumbledore's army won. And of course, they will take game 1. And going back to the other game, we have Denji here on Chaser, not on Seeker, which they are normally known for, but no, on Chaser, getting those points, making sure that High Tide are not scoring those points, but don't count them out just yet. I have seen them score twice on a recently very good team, and they can do it again if they want to. And Denji sadly missing 2 shots, but of course Counters can hit. Is he gonna hit the shot? And the bounce misses. I don't know what they're doing. It may be that they're just trying to stall on High Tide, but High Tide isn't just letting that happen. But it seems like Seawoods is again close to dying, and they did die to the hands of Jay Mahler, which is something that is gonna happen a lot. Seawoods is an incredible seeker, but one still very much in training, which means that just now they might die to Jay Mahler once, twice, thrice, 4 times, maybe even 5 times. But I believe that next season, or even a bit later this season, it can happen that Seawoods will catch every single snitch. And not just that, it seems like the match between the Chatty Cannons and Team Pumpkin Snatch has started. I don't know if you can switch over to them, but that would be incredible since this is the last match between Thin Ice and High Tide.
Once this match concludes, we'll be sure to swap on over there.
I do got to say, looking at the 2 perspectives, we have the 10-frame Dementor, who sometimes gets a bit of a good FPS, but now that I'm looking at it, and of course, pixel perfect chats. With yes, making both jokes about their frame rate not being the best that there is. But of course, am I seeing this right? Did High Tide just score on the one and only Drake Blueby?
That they have. Most excellent to see.
I am so sorry, but High Tide scored on Lake Bluey is gonna be such a boost in their confidence. Being able to score on one-off, if not the best keeper in the whole game, is certainly a feat not anyone can do. It is incredible. And also seeing that their keeper is dead, they have an easy goal. Are they gonna do it? And of course, Denji is gonna finish it with his first goal of the match.
Brilliantly done there. Brilliantly done.
Shall we move over to the next match? The Chadley Cannons versus Team Pumpkin Snatch?
Not just yet, my friend. Still getting things back in order.
Of course, take your time, Virtual. While you're getting things back in order, let me say how it goes. It currently is 10-10 with Tux dying to Nana. At the end of Snitch Race, it is gonna be close. Nana being able to control it, but it seems like the Chadley Cannons do have a reserve hero kick. Just able to shoot it out whenever they want, making it go in their advantage for the Snitch game. If I'm right, this Snitch might be in their hands. The Snitch coming back to blue side for Chadley Cannons. Are they gonna hit the hero? And they do shoot the hero. And they do hit Neo. If now one good punch. But the Mentor gets hit and the Snitch goes to Neo. What an incredible catch through the hero kick, through the Peter hit. Neo catches the Snitch. Ooh, it seems that this game is now also on top of the screen. So let me go to the Mentor POV, one of the best POVs, if not the best. But I can say that for almost everyone, to be honest, because all players in this community are incredible, except maybe Shucks. But like, we can do it. But I'm gonna say that Snitch was so close. It was such a disadvantage for them, and yet Tux with the final hit, making sure the Mentor cannot catch it, is an incredible play. Neo catching the Snitch was amazing. It's not something you do every day. I see that Virtual was also trying to put on the other game, DA versus the Angels, that just started their game too, still being 0-0 within just 10 seconds in. I don't know who's gonna score the first goal, but I do want it to go to a game 3. So I'm secretly hoping that the Angels will make an incredible comeback. And it's gonna be hard because DA just scored the first match. Of course, Virtual Witchcraft, I can see myself. And of course, is it back? It is of course back, having the POV of both the Mentor and Vanir, but it may be something wrong.
Nope, everything.
Did I just lose the perspective of... No, I am myself a bit blind. I just lost the perspective of the Mentor on my part.
No, you're not blind, my friend. So Dementor over by way of the Chadley Cannons is still in flight for said Chadley Cannons. And right now we have the perspective of Vanir from Dumbledore's army for our viewing pleasure.
Well, they both playing on, of course, the best map in the whole game, Weasley Cloudy, which made me lose track of what game was what in all these perspectives that we have available to choose from. But looking at the Chadley Cannons versus Pumpkin Snatch, they are very far ahead in a Snitch race. It can still go either way. They're trying to go for a third Snitch because, of course, an incredible shot from Chad, making it in. If they catch Snitch now, it is tight, and it will be tight. Neo missing the bump. With this, I think the Snitch might be almost guaranteed, but don't count them out just yet. It can still go either way. I have seen comebacks greater than this. And of course, Virtual, do you have something to say now that you're finally back?
Yes, as it seems, both Snitch races are very tight right now. Over with Dumbledore's army, it is 95-95. The Seekers are under pressure, as over with the Chadley Cannons and the Team Pumpkin Snatch. But Jolva is the first of the Seekers to capture the Snitch, and followed swiftly by Dementor. We do see the Chadley Cannons have tied the game at 40-40, 1 minute 45 seconds on the clock versus Team Pumpkin Snatch. Dumbledore's army taking an incredible lead here at 50-0 against the Avenging Angels.
Just got to say, both games are incredible to see. It's being tied for the Chadley Cannons versus Team Pumpkin Snatch, and DA actually getting a 1-up over the Angels, which just recently lost one of their very good players, Flyrich, back to thin ice. It is a sad moment to see, but it is something that happens. But of course, just because that happens doesn't mean they're gonna be let down with your boy Skinny. An incredible goal, make it 50-10, making sure they don't wanna lose, making sure they haven't lost their touch, and making sure that they will get that victory.
Indeed, your boy Skinny being an incredible chaser, being able to put in those points where necessary, but Hawkeye immediately responds in order to keep that gap at a 50-point disparity, as the snitch is currently favouring ever so slightly Dumbledore's army.
Just because it's favouring ever so slightly doesn't mean that they will immediately get it. I did just see another hit on what seems to be Rishi. Rishi being a very, very good seeker on the Angels part, but it can still go either way. Rishi being very low. Seems like Leggy is really putting on that pressure, but Skinny with the goals, making sure that they will not fall behind on any of the games.
Indeed, over with their game. It is coming close, but we are closer with the Chadley Cannons. Will they be able to get this catch? They're in sudden death, and the Chadley Cannons bring it home in sudden death, making it 60-40 and winning the first match against the yet unbeaten Team Pumpkin Snatch.
What an incredible catch from the Mentor, and in overtime, one chaser game could have prevented that, but no, they caught and they succeeded with, I'm just gonna say it was an incredible catch in that corner. It could have launched, they could have missed, and if they missed, it would have been over for them. But no, the Mentor knows how to catch, and they will show it. Looking back on the side of Angel versus DA, it seems like it's gonna be very close. One stitch by the side at all, and a bump on Joel. They get or is a hit. It doesn't matter. Both very bad for DA, making sure that Rishi is back in the game. If one of them gets a bump, it just might be over. Even a beater hit would do it.
One beater hit, one clobber from a seeker, or one clobber from a chaser. It very well may change the tide of the match with 1 minute 40 seconds left on the clock. 95 and 95 on that snitch meter. Dumbledore's army wanting to close out this game and secure the victory, and does, as Jolba swings on top of the snitch. 80-30. There are 50 points that the Avenging Angels are going to need to make up if they want to go into a Game 3.
What an incredible match on DA's part. And another score to top it off. Are they gonna 100 the Avenging Angels, which is one of, if not a really the good team in the league. I think they can make it to Newts if they put their mind to it. But DA proving that they also deserve that spot in Newts.
That they do. Cadrega putting in another 10 points for the Avenging Angels. If I'm not mistaken, up until now, Avenging Angels, even having lost one of their match series, is still number one just by points. However, Dumbledore's army, having pushed against their last opponents, have really made up the difference now, are bringing the number one time down with a 90-40 points. This just might upset the entirety of the OWL's roster, especially with the first loss of the Team Pumpkin Snatch to the Chadley Cannons. This is an incredible weekend for Quidditch.
I cannot wait to see the standings before this happens, and after this weekend it's gonna be incredible. And looking at the standings is, wait, why is my team so low on the, something ain't right here. Give me a second.
Remember, it is the point differential that really brings the rankings, if I'm not mistaken. So, victories are one thing, but the points that you put on the board really determine where you go. All of that said, that was an incredible shutdown from Dumbledore's army, bringing themselves a little higher than the Avenging Angels Seems that with the change of Flourish has unfortunately disheartened the Angels just a wee bit, but there's still the rest of the season for them to make a comeback. For now, Dumbledore's army have really been bringing it home, and it is most exciting to see here today. Incredible stuff.
Yes. It is so exciting, not just for you, but also for me, and of course everyone watching through the stream. We still have one game of Deadly Cannons versus Pumpkin Snatch left, and of course this time we can pay full attention to it, to one of, if not the most intense matches of the day.
Indeed.
Seems like virtual. Oh, you're still here? Oh, I thought you were gone for a second again there.
No, I'm currently just trying to wrangle up some perspectives from way of Team Pumpkin Snatch as we're about to move into this second game.
Ooh, of course, a perspective from both teams would be incredible. Otherwise, we just have to do it with Pixel Perfect Chat and Leggy the Mentor. Which, of course, after seeing those two POVs, I have to say it like that because I thought a bit of nicknaming would fit them well. But of course, if I'm looking at it now, I see that Chet is playing on controller.
Indeed, indeed. One of the few controller players that I still know today.
Being able to fly on controller is very impressive because, in my opinion, mouse and keyboard is superior with those quick turns of the mouse. And of course, if you have a stick that is just limited to how fast you can turn, it's like... But looking at this, Jet just knows how to pull it off.
Chad is a Chad when it comes down to the gameplay on controller, so just makes sense to me.
Ooh, of course, seeing in chat the incredible sportsmanship of High Tide, thanking the enemy for a great match, even though they may or may not have a bit obliterated. But they scored 1 point on Thin Ice, which is the 2-time consecutive champion, so they can be proud. They can be proud of scoring that goal.
They can and should be proud of all that they've put forward here today. And they still have the rest of the season to make even further progress. So, I'm hoping, from an underdog perspective, to see that High Tide turns it around and maybe even finds their way into Newts. I can't say one way or the other just yet, but I think with their trajectory as it is right now, they have the potential to come in as a first-time team and swing themselves into Newts if they put forward more of the practices, if they get out there with some of the scrims. I anticipate that they will go very far.
Well, as I said to them, I'm gonna be very honest, and with me being very honest, I'm gonna say no, High Tide, you're not gonna make it. No, that's polish reserve for me. Like next season maybe.
Here we have Ketchup doubting your capabilities, High Tide. Don't let him put you down. I believe in you.
Well, of course, I can joke with them a little bit, as I am one of the people who has been trying really hard to make them improve. Also leaving the commentary booth to try and improve them on the spot, which, looking at the gameplay, she was trying to implement it, and it's, I'm gonna say, it was working a bit. Of course, not having that Seeker. Oh, don't make me pull out the mustard. I am so insulted by that Phantom. I am so insulted. How dare you say that? Like, this hurts me in the soul. Which, as of course a beater, is the right thing to do. So props to that.
Props indeed, props indeed. And though their games have completed for now, if I'm not mistaken, we will be moving very shortly into this next match of the Chatley Cannons versus Team Pumpkin Snatch. Currently, looks as if the teams are taking a moment to restart their clients and move back into it. Still waiting to see if we can get a Team Pumpkin Snatch perspective on our side. And I don't want to rush people, but we are at the 30-minute mark, meaning we have 11 minutes before the dreaded 41.
I mean, I don't think we should start the game, because if we get those 80 minutes of overtime, then I don't think we're gonna make it.
80 minutes. Oh goodness, Ketchup. The ambition you have for this.
A commentator can dream, and a commentator will dream.
Always good to see those dreams though. It is incredible. Oh, and I do think we have a perspective here. Excellent, excellent. Let's go ahead, get these HUDs updated appropriately, as it looks like they are loading themselves in to this next match. Are you excited, Ketchup, between the Chadley Cannons and Team Pumpkin Snatch, especially after that first upset match there against Team Pumpkin Snatch, as the Chadley Cannons sealed their first victory?
You may call it an upset match, but having faced all of these teams before, knowing how strong the Chadley Cannons are, I don't think this was an upset. I think they have the ability to just take it all from the hands of Pumpkin Snatch.
Most excellent, and we will see if what you believe is true as we are moving right on in to this second matchup of the Chadley Cannons versus Team Pumpkin Snatch.
And the match starts immediately, looking at Tux's POV, trying to get the mentor down, knowing that the mentor is a strong seeker, not being able to just let them fly free and have to put all of their perspective or all of their pressure on the seeker, not being able to put out a bit of chaser pressure. So the chasers just have to fend for themselves, which of course is very dangerous with Chet on that controller gameplay.
And Chad and the entirety of the Chad's team have been working very hard to try and put the first goal in, but unfortunately it is knocked away, as over by way of Team Pumpkin Snatch, it seems like they are keeping the pressure over on top of Dementor there, not wanting to concede any amount of pressure and keep with their overwhelming, just powerhouse nature on this pitch. The coordination, something to be admired. Meanwhile, Chadley Cannons is still keeping up their own. This does look to be an even matchup, as we are 1 minute and 15 seconds in and no points scored yet. Caster's curse, Caster's curse. Whoa!
Virtual, don't say too much, because you said that right as Team Pumpkin Snatch was about to score. And do I see Neo is low? Are we gonna see a Neo death? No, he knows exactly when to dodge. He is a bit behind on Snitch meter. But does that mean that Chadley Cannons can profit off of this? Or profit over Neon needing to play it safe? But no, they want to go for the goal. They want to give them a hero. Or no, they want to keep it, but they lose it, which makes it so that they can score, which they probably realize, oh, we're probably not gonna catch the snitch, so might as well make the blow as little as possible. And of course, Shoni having the ball is making it extremely hard. But looking back at Seeker, it's gonna be incredibly close, but the mentor catches it. They got hit, but they got hit just that bit too late in the animation, already catching it.
An incredible capture there from Dementor, and I must say, as I was watching from Tux's perspective, I saw plenty of the Chadley Cannons playing interference against that absolutely terrifying beater that is Alpha Tux.
Alpha Tux is indeed a phenomenal beater. He
phenomenal all-around player. Oh, Cardi, upset by the fact that they conceded any amount of points over to the Chadley Cannons, throws in an incredible shot there, securing 10 points for Team Pumpkin Snatch.
I can see that Pumpkin Snatch immediately tries to put on pressure on the Seeker. They really want to secure this snitch catch, because they know that if the enemy team catches it, it might immediately just be over. And a bump on Neo, which is going to make it that much harder to secure catch. But maybe this hero kick will help.
a hero kick potentially, but knowing the team of the Chadley Cannons, they are keeping up a strong amount of communication. Dementor suffering very little there from that kick, but Pumpkin Snatch herself knocks down the captain of the Chads there. And in the background, Team Pumpkin Snatch secures yet another goal. Beautifully done. Chadley Cannons plucks that quaffle out of the air, sends it right on back. One Warden in possession. Cardi picks it back up, goes for another shot. Tied game, 30-30 at 3 minutes left on the clock. And the Seeker race is neck and neck.
I think a snitch might decide it all, but with a snitch being this close, it can be anyone's snitch. Of course, both teams still have a reserve in their pocket, which can change the tide of battle for both teams. But it seems like that, of course, then they're being hit. But the Chadley Cannons do have a reserve. Did they just use it? I think they just did, making it that the Chadley Cannons do not have a reserve anymore. But they do have the snitch lead. Are they gonna profit off of it, or are they gonna go down to Tux's hands?
Well, it looks like over by Chad himself. Chad is holding on to the quaffle, not wanting to put it on in, stalling for time as they are getting closer on this snitch race. Dementor with a marginal lead, but Neo coming up from behind looking for those bumping opportunities. Alpha Tux looking to get some clabbers on over on Dementor, sends it, but Dementor captures another incredible catch for the Chadley Cannons, securing a 20-point lead.
It was sad to see, but I think Neo there made a really bad turn, making it so the Dementor could fly free straight behind the snitch and catching it, since both the beater and the seeker were nowhere to be seen.
And as we are getting closer and closer to the end of the match, with only 20 points separating Team Pumpkin Snatch and a potential to capture this next snitch, we might yet see that overtime, but it will be dangerous as we only have 4 minutes until the dreaded 41.
No, I don't want to say that we're gonna get an overtime, because Neo just died, almost make it impossible for them to catch the snitch.
Most unfortunate, but knowing their capabilities, Team Pumpkin Snatch could secure 2 points on their goal and then come back around in the last bit. But
it is gonna be incredibly hard to get those 2 goals, but knowing Team Pumpkin Snatch, they would just do it. I've seen them do it this game, making 2 goals, but no. Of course, the Chadley Cannons are a very, very good team, making sure those goals would not go in and holding the quaffle like their life depends on it.
Holding on to it and looking for a shot here as Chad weaves about, but Pumpkin Snatch herself secures the save and sends it right back on out there to Neo. Neo looking for an opening, sends it on over to Cardi. Cardi trying to get the shot, but unfortunately it's back in the hands of CompuGamer, who sends it back to Chad, who sends it forward to T-Dreams. T-Dreams looking to potentially get this shot here. 14 seconds left on the clock, and the snitch meter is neck and neck.
But Neo gets hit. He needs to go for it now. He needs to better get it. But the Mentor gets it, securing the win.
At 4 seconds left. Oh, what an incredible match series there.
I don't want to say a lot, but Neo did get an incredible bump at the end. But that bump made him get hit, making him lose more progress than he gained from it, which is the perfect opportunity for a certain Dementor to catch that snitch.
What an incredible match we have just seen here today. If I'm not mistaken, the yet undefeated Team Pumpkin Snatch get knocked down by the Chadley Cannons. What an incredible
match.
Jinx on that statement, and yes, I thoroughly agree there. What an incredible matchup. This truly bombastic and win-worthy team matchup has brought us an incredible series here today, and I know that the Chadley Cannons are going to be celebrating. It's incredible to see. And though Team Pumpkin Snatch has gone down today, for this first matchup. They still have another match coming in the gun against the Gaslight and Grindelows. They may have lost their momentum here, but they can regain it moving into the next match that will be coming up in about 20 minutes time.
And I think that will also be the last match of today. Isn't that right, Virtual?
As far as I'm aware, yes, we have had last minute entries as of today, but as far as I see on the calendar, that will be the last match between Team Pumpkin Snatch and the Gaslight and Grindelows in approximately 19 minutes. But what an incredible series we've had thus far. Barring the technical difficulties that I've had on my side, I do hope the audience has been enjoying this incredibly intense and action-packed day of Quidditch here at League 7.
It's very action-packed, but I think the next match is only one, so we can have a bit of a cooldown, not having to commentate multiple games at once, which, with this one time, we did have them all right one after another, almost no overlapping, which was incredibly nice.
Indeed it was, though from a production side of things, I will be very happy just to have this singular game going on again.
You did incredible on the production side, Virtual, and I tried, of course, to help you by just letting out my voice, commentating for you, and just relieving some of that commentator stress that you would have gotten, well, if you tried to do both at the same time.
And I'm so glad to have had you in the box here to help me there, Ketchup. You did incredible there. I know you had expressed reservations at the beginning of the season when it came down to your casting capabilities, but you really are the GOAT with that commentating that you did there as I was getting the production back in order. I must say, I'm so proud of you, Ketchup. You are doing incredibly well here in the box.
Well, of course, it's all thanks to you, Virtual, or one and only commentator who is there every single match, except if something happens to you in real life, but that almost never happens. And you
Almost
being
never.
here every single time is such an honor, not just for me, but for everyone in the community.
I appreciate that, Ketchup. Thank you so much. I am very happy to do what I can for this incredible community, and especially being able to showcase the greatness that is this community, both on the pitch and off of it. And speaking of, we will be taking a moment to allow ourselves a quick reprieve as we are going into a commercial break, waiting to set up for this next match, as Team Pumpkin Snatch has a lot to answer for this next game against the Gaslight and Grindelows. So don't go away, dear audience. We will be right back after these messages. Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Virtual Witchcraft here at League 7. Just taking a brief moment to come in and plug some of our merchandise as it stands. I have gotten word from a few of our people over in the creative and our administrative side of things that we do have some limited time merchandise out for only a brief period as it seems. We got some limited edition merchandise on some of the previous seasons currently up in the shop and a Season 5 merch drop coming up in the gun. So if you haven't already and you would like to, we do have a link for our merchandise currently over in the chat, and for your viewing pleasure, you'll be able to go there, take a look at some of the merch that we do have, but remember, it is limited time only. For now though, we will be getting back into Quidditch here very shortly, as both teams seem to be readying themselves up in the gun and preparing for this next match. Now, presuming I've got everything on my side set up appropriately, let's go ahead and introduce the two teams. As it stands, we have the Gaslight and Grindylows, an incredible, formidable team and ever so tenacious that have showcased their stuff on the pitch time and time again. Right now, we see that the captain is Meg Wood, an incredible beater keeper combo who has done their best to play the defensive line to the greatest strengths available. Meanwhile, you've also got Chemicool, Captain Carnage, Dynamite Coke, Frank, Ishiverse, Time Twister, Extreme Butter, and Vibin' Within. Now, the Gaslight and Grindylows in yesterday's matches managed to defeat Dumbledore's army, but Dumbledore's army has brought back their own vengeance today on the pitch and showcased that whilst they were down, they were not out. Over by way of Team Pumpkin Snatch, let's go ahead swap on over to them so we can take a look at their makeup. Team Pumpkin Snatch has had a bit of a hard run here today, as they had just conceded their first matches against the Chadley Cannons, and if I'm not mistaken, conceded their very first losses of the season. But their general makeup is an ever formidable one. We see over in the Chaser Keeper combo the captain herself, Pumpkin Snatch, who has led a team of truly remarkable flyers here today, with Macoon, Alpha Tux, Cardi, Neo, Lego, Marsanli, Shoni, Neo Baller, and Unknown Key. What we see between the two teams is that they are both rather incredibly diverse in their capabilities. We've seen Alpha Tux taking up quite a few of the different positions to date, and we have seen the Seekers shuffling between Neo as of recent with incredible, remarkable broom work, but unfortunately had to concede that last match to Dementor. Will Neo be willing to prove himself yet again on the pitch here, especially going up against either Extreme Butter or Frank, well-known Seekers and Chaser combos? The Gaslight and Grindylows' versatility may yet supersede that of Team Pumpkin Snatch's, but Team Pumpkin Snatch's incredible chemistry and pressure on the pitch have made them a almost undefeated foe for the entirety of this season, up until the midway mark. We are in week 7 of the season, and we have seen some incredible lucky breaks here and some unfortunate losses. But this is going to mark the very last of the games here today for week 7 before we wrap up production side and move over onto week 8 next weekend. We are just currently waiting for each of the players to get themselves loaded on up as we are about to move on into this first match. But don't go away, dear audience. We will be waiting just a moment longer before we move right in to the first matchup between the Gaslight and Grindylows and Team Pumpkin Snatch.
Win this match Don't you agree, Virtual?
Gaslight and Grindelows have showcased their tenacity, but I don't think that Team Pumpkin Snatch is going to let them go down without a fight. As it stands, Team Pumpkin Snatch more than likely are going to be emboldened and use the fiery flames of their last loss in order to bring home a victory against their watery competitors.
Well, it is going to be a very rough match and a very hard match for the Grindelows, but I believe that they have... they have a chance to win this, to get Pumpkin Snatch even more down. But it is going to be very hard for them.
It is going to be very difficult for them. As of now, the Gaslight and Grindelows have really brought forward their own plays against previous teams, but going up against the like of Team Pumpkin Snatch is going to be a very difficult request. I don't know. I do believe that it could go either way if Team Pumpkin Snatch's performance in the match previous continues over into this next one. I feel like they were just a little loose in their plays, especially going up against such a tight-knit team as the Chadley Cannons. Unfortunately led to their demise, but who knows? Who knows? In this ever-changing game of Quidditch, we have seen upsets in the past. Maybe we will see it again here today.
I mean, you could say that every game could be an upset because every player is cheering for someone else and thinking that someone else might win. I mean, have you not seen it in the World Cup finale? The biggest upset of all, Benelux 2-0 down, everyone thinking that they're gonna lose, but then the comeback, which just bring it up because it was the highest my blood pressure has ever been.
Honestly, I think that was some of the most intense matchups of Quidditch that I had seen to date. Though it does give me hopes for the NEW teams, NEWTs that will be coming up later on in this season. As it stands, do they have what it takes within these League 7 teams to bring back such an incredible gameplay? With EU Benelux having showcased some incredible teamwork out there, truly dominating the competition, though with Latin America having had such a strong lead, perhaps Benelux had just simply been waiting in the back wings to pull a surprise maneuver, and did. Will we see that in these teams moving into NEWTs and being past the halfway threshold? What do you say, Ketchup? Who do you think right now really has the potential to move on into Newts?
If I may, give me a bit of time so I can get the whole scoreboard and OWS standings. Let me look. Right now we have the Avenging Angels and Thin Ice at the top together with Team Pumpkin Snatch. But those three are gonna be very, very hard to beat. But not impossible. Looking at the top four, Avenging Angels, Thin Ice, Team Pumpkin Snatch and the Chadley Cannons. I don't think all four of them are gonna make it into Newts. There has to be someone that is gonna get upset, and it can be any one of them. I of course am personally hoping for Thin Ice, so that we have a new champion this season.
You say new champion this season, but with Thin Ice having secured the victory in the past 2 seasons, wouldn't that make them a hat-trick this season if they do bring it home?
It of course would, but that would also mean that my team lost, and I do not want that to happen. I know it's a bit of bias, but you are having the beater of the Bludgers here in the commentator booth. There is gonna be a bit of bias towards the Bludgers.
Well, there's still plenty of time for the Bludgers to make their way up the rosters. You're going to have to give it your all to move on into Newts. It is a steep competition, excuse me.
Of course it is. Looking at it now, we are 6th, but we are 6th place. We're terrible.
Well, you know what? 6th place, if I'm not mistaken, is enough to put you into newts.
Oh, it would put us into nudes, but like I would not have the best feeling then. I would be defeated. But
Look,
that's just my personality speaking. Me thinking that us as Team Bludgers could do better. I mean, anyone who even gets into nudes is gonna be incredible. But looking at the scoreboard, High Tide and the Nimbus Nighthawks both have not won a single game. Which means I would love to see a match between the two, to see who gets on top.
well, I have some unfortunate news there when it comes down to the Nimbus Nighthawks catch-up. We did receive word from the captain of the Nimbus Nighthawks that unfortunately they will be disbanding for the rest of the season. Just certain matters had come up and unfortunately they can't commit the time to focusing on Quidditch, which makes sense. Real life takes priority. We can't necessarily ask them to set aside all that they have in their daily lives. So unfortunately, the Nimbus Nighthawks career for Season 5 has ended rather prematurely. But that isn't to say that we don't have some other incredible games in the gun with regards to the rest of our teams. And we do have a game coming up right now. As the teams are loading in, we are about to see the first matchup between the Gaslighting Grindylows and Team Pumpkin Snatch here today.
It is gonna be an incredible match and I cannot wait to see it. I really hope that the Grindylows will make a comeback, seeing as they are 5th in the leaderboard and Team Pumpkin Snatch is 3rd. It is so much closer than you might expect.
And the game begins as we see in this perspective. We have Time Twister currently flying on after the snitch, as over on the enemy side we have Team Pumpkin Snatch represented once again by Alpha Tux, who is headlining it over on top of Time Twister almost immediately, wanting to give Neo every advantage as possible.
It is gonna be a really rough game for the Grindylows, but I believe that they can take it. But looking at Tux's gameplay, looking at Time Twister's gameplay, it is gonna be a rough secret battle. Tux hitting like 50% of his tackles, making sure that the Grindylows cannot catch up with the snitch in any way.
By way of the snitch, it does look as if Neo is currently in the lead there at the first minute mark. No goals to be conceded, with Megwood for the Gaslighting Grindylows currently in possession. Passes on out to Ishii. Ishii looking to streak down the pitch and try and put the first goal on the board. We do see Alpha Tux clobbering Time Twister, keeping that snitch meter low. Time Twister, if I'm not mistaken, has not gone down yet, but Alpha Tux being absolutely merciless with those snitch meter reduction hits. And Time Twister
goes down. I don't want to say a lot, Virtual, but you know what they say about the commentator's curse.
It's true, and I may have been leading into that a bit, as Neo secures the catch and the first 20 points on the board for Team Pumpkin Snatch.
An incredible catch, but what I do notice is that after 2 minutes of full gameplay, not a single team has scored yet. I mean, Secret game may be a bit one-sided, but the Chaser game can go either way, and we don't know which way it will go.
Well, we do see Cardi in possession. Cardi having a track record of putting in the goals after the very first snitch, perhaps simply lulling the enemy team into a false sense of security. We do see Time Twister is dangerously low there though, as currently Alpha Tux is keeping them down in snitch meter and health.
It is going to be and of course, as you said it, 1 goal made by Cardi, make it 30-0. If this continues, Team Pumpkin Snatch will take the win. The Grindylows really have to flip a switch. Their Seeker needs to lock in, not get hit by Tux, which is gonna be incredibly hard. But I believe they can do it.
And we do see that Ishii responds, putting the first 10 points on the board for the Gaslight and Grindylows in the background as Time Twister is weaving and twisting around Alpha Tuck's every attack. 20-point disparity. Team Pumpkin Snatch still in the lead at 3 minutes 40 seconds.
Be able to make a comeback. Either the beater of the Grindylows needs to kill them all, needs to kill Neo to make a comeback, or Time Twister really has to make those bumps on Neo to make sure that he gets his Nick meter back.
It's going to be a very, very high request to fulfill, as right now, Team Pumpkin Snatch puts in another 10 points. Cardi once again showcasing their chaser capabilities and bringing the score 10-40.
I see that Tux goes down, which means that Time Twister does have the space and the lack of pressure to actually go for Neo. And I saw that Neo also got hit by the beater, making sure that Time Twister has that little bit of space to do what they want. But Time Twister gets bumped by Neo, making sure that even though all the pressure is on Neo, he knows how to deal with it and he knows how to hit with it.
From what I can see, it looks like Time Twister is using everything in their capabilities to keep the enemy team off of them, but it looks as if Neo is just a point away. Oh, Shoni comes out to knock down Time Twister and secure Neo the next capture of the snitch. We are at 10-60. Team Pumpkin Snatch still in the lead with plenty of time for a third snitch.
There is plenty of time, but for being able to this first snitch to matter, to even care about it, you do need to get those chaser goals, which is incredibly hard against Team Pumpkin Snatch. Of course, their chaser core of Cardi, of Shoni, and of course their keeper Pumpkin Snatch, and the last chaser Marcelini is gonna be incredibly hard to go by. But looking at the scoreboard, I do see that it happened before. They just need to do it 3 times more in 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's hard, but not impossible.
Alpha Tux, in the meanwhile, is trying to make it nearly impossible as they swap on out over to the chaser gameplay to really hit it hard where it hurts, knocking Ishii on down. Oh, and the taunt, the disrespect, really trying to get on the other team's nerves. But Time Twister, meanwhile, has been taking advantage of the lack of beater pressure, keeping up with Neo this time for this third snitch, but gets bumped there by Neo, and Alpha Tux returns to get the secondary clapper in.
I do see that Tux immediately summoned the Bludger, which might have not been the best idea, because if he didn't do that, he could have gotten a second hit, downing Time Twister, but now Tux gave Time Twister the opportunity to catch their breath and maybe even catch that last stitch.
Oh, but it's gonna be difficult to do so unless Neo gets knocked down here. We're really going to need to see some interference coming in from the Gaslight and Grindylows. Neo on top of the snitch. There we see Time Twister knock back the Bludger back to Alpha Tux. Headlining it onto the snitch, takes the clunk from Tux. Neo swings in with the capture. We are at 80-10 and only 13 seconds left on the board. This looks like a secured win by way of Team Pumpkin Snatch.
I do got to say, I am very disappointed. I did not get to see that 80 minutes of overtime this time. I was really hoping and really believing that this match we could do it.
Well, maybe not 80 minutes of overtime, but Team Pumpkin Snatch puts 80 points on the board versus the Gaslight and Grindylows 10, securing them their very first win in this match series. Well done.
An incredible game, if I do have to say it. But just because they won game 1 doesn't mean they can ease up on game 2. The Grindylows can get like a really good comeback. It is gonna be hard, but I do believe it is possible.
I think it's possible. We have seen today quite a few surprises hit our perspective. So, maybe moving into this next match, we will see something, a change in roster or a change in gameplay. Right now.
Virtual.
Yes?
I've got to ask, what do you think that the Grindelows have to change or have to improve to be able to win against Team Pumpkin Snatch?
100%. I think they're going to need to play a lot more on the interference. As it stands, their defensive line in the first half of the game was incredible. Being able to keep out the likes of Cardi and Shoni and all of them from putting points on the board, it was incredible to behold. But they're going to have to play a lot more when it comes down to that interference gameplay if they want a chance at securing any of those snitches, especially when going up against the likes of Alpha Tux. It is just a tall order to do without any amount of help. So yes, what I would say, over to H2O, you are going to need to play more on the interference, maybe play a lot more aggressively in the scoring game too. It's a lot to ask, I know, especially with the formidable keeper line that comes with Team Pumpkin Snatch, but we've seen in the previous games of today, it is possible. So don't count yourselves out. You've got to keep your cool and be able to bring home this next victory to stay alive and move into a match 3.
In match 3 is exactly what we want. Well, I don't think Team Pumpkin Snatch really wants a match 3, but the Grindelows and us commentators and the viewers watching really do love to see a match 3. Not just so that we have 3 matches, but just because then we can also see that the Grindelows have a chance to make that news, to make a difference, to show that they can win.
And I know they do have what it takes. It is something that we've seen in previous seasons where teams lower on the roster find their way climbing the ladder to really squeeze their way into mutes and bring it back home. So, Gaslight and Grindelows, the pressure is on. This next game could determine the rest of your season. Treat it as it does, so that I see you play at 110% and really bring home the bacon.
Ooh, I just refreshed the page and it just looks like we went down to 7th place.
Oh no, it looks like the Bludgers are finding themselves squeaking farther and farther down the ladder. Oh, but if I'm not mistaken, Ketchup, your team has only played, what, 3 matches?
We only played 2 matches so far with a 100% win rate.
A 100% win rate?
Which teams were again? Let me check real quick. The Bludgers currently have played against the Nimbus Nighthawks, who unfortunately have disbanded, and the Chadley Cannons,
which we saw today. The Chadley Cannons turned back around and knocked down Team Pumpkin Snatch. So, at the very least, your next match could be against Team Pumpkin Snatch, and that could bring an interesting dynamic. As do you have what it takes to knock down the team that the team you bested?
Got to say, I really do think that anyone can best any team, especially now that some of the teams are a bit more balanced. And I do think that maybe this season Thin Ice might get dethroned.
Ooh. Dethroning the frigid competition that is Thin Ice will be exciting to see. But knowing Thin Ice, especially recaptained by Flyrish, they're gonna give it to you. Do you think you have what it takes to break the Thin Ice with your Bludgers, Ketchup?
No.
Well, succinct an answer as that is, I still hold out hope. Don't you worry there, Ketchup. I think you undersell yourself.
I'm just joking with you. I really thought that bit would be funny, and of course, knowing me, everything I do say it's 90% of the time funny. The other 10% of the time, I'm just straight up insulting people. Love you, high tide, but you do have to work on your chaser gameplay, your beater gameplay, your keeper gameplay, and your seeker gameplay a little bit more. And with a little bit, I mean you are probably just filling the barrel. And some other teams in the Quidditch community already filled the barrel all the way to the brim. But I believe that High Tide, with their surplus amount of water, can fill that barrel in no time. 2 months. I give you 2 months.
2 months. I'm going to give them a deadline of a month. But we have no deadline here as we see this next matchup of the Gaslighting Grindylows versus Team Pumpkin Snatch. Victory rides on this next match.
Well, looking at this next match, what do you predict is gonna happen with especially the switch between beaters, which is my first thing that I saw, and Tux immediately being at 4 HP.
Well, Tux I do see is being taken on by the likes of Chemical, but that beater versus beater perspective is going to really become something of note, because we do still see that in Chaser Core, Team Pumpkin Snatch puts the first 10 points right on the board.
Well, they do put the points on the board, but I just want to point something out. Both teams have switched their Seeker, with Extreme Butter being on Seeker for the Grindylows, and I am Shoni, or the person who got to play Quidditch again, all for the low price of what seems to be $200, is also on Seeker.
$200 for playing in Quidditch? I should start charging. But all of that said, Shoni is absolutely incredible to witness when it comes down to their gameplay in all positions. To see them on Seeker, I'm very proud to see another incredible Seeker. And speaking of, it does look like I Am Shoni is in the lead on that Seeker race by a solid 20%. Currently, Team Pumpkin Snatch and the Gaslighting Grindylows trading back and forth with the Quaffle. Oh, Chemical getting knocked down by the Keeper. I'm not exactly certain as to why Chemical is focusing primarily on the Keeper when they needed some help over on the back line, or even with their Seeker gameplay. Not the exact right call that I'd say it, especially given the fact that that has conceded 20 additional points over to Team Pumpkin Snatch at a 10-30 game. 5 minutes left on the clock.
I don't want to say a lot of bad stuff to any of the teams, but seeing that Kemi doesn't always have the priorities right, it may be an improvement to be able to know when to switch to Chaser and when to switch to Seeker. But looking at the game now, I think switching to Chaser might have been the better option, because I may need to swallow my words after that death of the Seeker of the Grindylows. Like, yes, they got a goal, but it's almost at the cost of a whole Seeker race, which is something you really do not want.
Indeed it is, and Chemical is keeping up the pressure over on Pumpkin Snatch. Meanwhile, his back end is needing a lot more assistance, especially with the fact that their Seeker has gone down, conceding a solid amount on that Seeker gameplay. AlphaTux, meanwhile, is balancing the focus on the Chaser and Seeker core, getting a brilliant fumble there over on top of Dynarexo, knocking them down right there. Looks as if they are giving the team... they're giving the... Goodness, I cannot speak today. The Gaslighting Grindylows a bit of a reprieve, with Extreme Butter still on top and still flying, and even taking an advantageous lead on the Snitch. Incredible turnaround. And with that, Lego putting in another 10 points for Team Pumpkin Snatch.
But Kemi with an incredible kill on Shoni. I don't want to say a lot, but Kemi dying to Pumpkin did give them a great position. This is the 4th time you died to Pumpkin, Kemi, please!
Chemical with a rather interesting, non-standard approach to the game, which has been, oddly enough, paying off? Question mark?
I don't know if it's paying off. It is like very close. Chemical being very confused on what he needs to do. Just trying to help the chasers by cramming the keeper. Leaving Seeker game a bit behind. But for some reason, it all works out because he gets to kill Shoni. With, to be honest, I have no idea how he does it because he keeps getting killed by Pumpkin. I think we might see another death again. He is really playing with fire currently.
But unconventional tactics aside, Alpha Tux brings home a clever and very, very classic kill on the Seeker there, equalizing that snitch meter a bit more and even putting it farther ahead for Shoni. Shoni with an advantageous lead, and Cardi once again swinging in for another 10 points on the board. We are at 20-60 with 2 minutes left in this match.
Well, it seems that Pemmy planned to bother this keeper a whole lot isn't always working out because they really are losing Seeker meter and not just Snitch in general, because I can see Butter is down again. They really need to have someone on Tux, but Kemi is really determined to kill Pumpkin, which, as we have seen before, is not always the result that happens.
We do see there, Extreme Butter has gone down yet again by the hands of Alpha Tux, almost assuredly securing Shoni that victory on the Snitch. And a beautiful shot there by Ishii trying to equalize it a bit more. They're going to need to really start focusing over on Shoni, or else they will concede this Snitch.
Oh, I don't want to say a lot, but High Tide, if you ever look at this gameplay, please don't follow what Chemical is doing right now. It is not a really good strategy, especially not with your Seeker dying for the 5th time because of this.
And we do see there though,
Working out.
A Chemical does send the bludger over to hit the enemy Seeker and succeeds, sending Shoni on down. I don't know exactly what Chemical's plan is, but this is incredible to witness. With 20 seconds left in this match, 30-60, this third Snitch has yet to be caught. Oh, Extreme Butter takes another hit from Alpha Tux. These poor chase and Seekers. Extreme Butter goes down again. Will Shoni get the Snitch here? I don't know. This is wild. This is absolutely wild.
Chemical played horrible. I'm gonna be honest with that. But that was twice. He didn't even go past the enemy hopes. He did a 3-meter radius. Killed the Seeker twice. Times.
I'm crying. I'm crying laughing here in the booth as we've witnessed some absolutely unconventional plays here today, which unfortunately came at the cost of the Gaslight and Grindles. But for the victory, yet again, of the second match series between Team Pumpkin Snatch and the Gaslight and Grindelows.
They should not be this close.
It should not have been that close, but somehow it was. I don't know. Maybe Chemical had a secret tactic, has changed the meta. Just needs to refine it a bit more, and it'll be a little more, viable for matches next. But I don't know if it worked out for that one exactly how they intended. All I know is that Team Pumpkin Snatch is truly celebrating here today and has an incredible story to bring home to their common room later this evening.
This game should not be celebrated at all. Chemical being up the keeper's ass 24/7 and actually helping them kill the Seeker, but not killing the keeper.
Oh, we'll have to bring it down there just a bit, but at the same time, I'm confused. I'm absolutely confused. That gameplay was all over the place there. And I don't know whether to make heads or tails of it. I don't know if we can say that that was Team Pumpkin Snatch operating in their top form here today, conceding one of their matches over to the Chadley Cannons, who no doubt is celebrating an incredible victory that they brought home there that night. But unfortunately, moving into this next match of the Gaslight and Grindelows, actually, wait, I think I know what it was. Ketchup. I think what Chemical was doing, because I never saw any comms coming out from Pumpkin Snatch herself in that last match. Maybe attacking the captain, unable to be able to move into the comms on the text-to-speech, because as far as I'm aware, they don't have any audio going into their gameplay. Wasn't able to communicate with their players the entirety of the match. I don't know if that was enough, given the fact that Team Pumpkin Snatch has chemistry beyond the communications, but maybe that's what Chemical was focusing on.
Chemical, if you're really focusing on that,
That's not your biggest priority. Your Seeker died 5 to 6 times that match.
Unfortunate, but you know, maybe Chemical trusted their Seeker to be able to take on the likes of Alpha Tux. Some trust, maybe misguided. You need more help than just relying on your Seeker's wits and capabilities to take on some incredible beaters there. But all of that said, it did lead, maybe not to the most incredible gameplay, but to some interesting and entertaining gameplay, which is indeed why we are here today. I don't agree with the tactics, but I do enjoy seeing them on the pitch, even if just for a once-off. All of that said,
this was one of the most entertaining matches I've watched today, even though it did make my blood boil as a beater.
Same here from Seeker gameplay. If I had seen that from my personal beater, I would have been begging, pleading, crying to have any amount of help. But Chemical still managed to somehow send Bludgers over when it mattered most to knock down the enemy Seeker. I don't know how they managed that, but it was impossibly and incredibly well versed. All of that to say, that does wrap up our matches here today, as that was the last match in our day series of this weekend and of week 7. We have seen some highs, some lows, and we are going to be moving farther on into this next half of the season with plenty more games in the gun, as we see we are ramping on up for Newts at the end of next month. It's going to be incredible catch-up, and I do hope to see plenty more gameplay, both from your team, the Bludgers, and from other teams as they enter into getting their last-minute matches in the gun. But yes... Oh, go ahead, Ketchup.
I cannot wait to see everyone play again next week and the week after that. Well, there are some exceptions after today's match, but for the rest, I do hope to see everyone on the pitch again.
As do I. Now I will go ahead and remind everyone, if you haven't already, be sure to like, favorite and subscribe on all of our platforms. If you haven't joined our Discord already, you can find the link to said Discord over at league7.gg, our official website, as well as keep up to date with all of the matches in the gun, as well as the names and faces that have brought this season to its incredible tenure that we have here today, as well as previous seasons past. On top of that, we do have our own League 7 merchandise that you can find at the link that I'm currently putting in chat now. We have a limited time series of previous seasons merchandise, and keep an eye out for our Season 5 merch drop, which will be for a limited time only. But yes, that is it for today. Ketchup, before I close us on out here, do you have any parting words?
Of course. Beta training is now available for anyone. You just have to DM me. And beside that, those were some incredible matches today. And I cannot wait to commentate next week. If I'm, of course, accepted back into the booth.
We will see. We have had an influx of players asking to put themselves in the booth. So whilst I can't guarantee that you will be joining us next week, I can at least say that I would love to have you in the booth. If not before the end of OWLs, then certainly during any WTs when your team isn't competing.
And if you're alone, I'm always available while on the pitch. We still have the earpiece laying around. It did not break, as a matter of fact.
Most excellent to hear. For now though, thank you everyone who has joined us in chat today. Thank you for joining us on this exceptional stream of exceptional players in this exceptional league. My name is Felix of Virtual Witchcraft, signing off.